All right, we're going to get started. So on today's session of 7 Days to Docusign, we are going over how to add signatures for your clients for them to sign the documents. So I'm going to share my screen.
Right? Yeah, you got Charlotte Savoy, who's the president of App's business. Charlotte did what, 1.7 million in GCI last year.
All right, so I'm on agent.kw.com. I am going to go to the contact that we were working on, Jane.
Here's how. Because she's a businesswoman. She's a very savvy businesswoman. And she has some financial goals. So she didn't just want to be a salesperson. She absolutely.
And I'm going to click on opportunities. And now we are in that file. So when I click on documents, you'll see instead of it saying start a transaction, it says go to transaction, because on Friday we clicked on start a transaction and that created a room for us inside of Docusign. So I'm going to click on go to transaction and that will take me to that room for this client. I'm going to sign in. So Friday's class, we added documents, we added the listing agreement, and then we also, I showed you how to do the auto-populate from the detail section, and also how to go into these documents one by one and fill them out. So the next step, once they're completed and filled out, you want to get signatures on them. So we're going to click on envelopes right up here. And you can either click in the middle right here where it says create a new envelope, or you can click up here where it says plus new. The first thing it's going to ask is what the envelope name is. So best practice is probably to name it what's inside that envelope. So listing documents, you know, pre-listing packet, whatever you want to name that envelope. So I'm just going to do listing packet. And this is for your records. Your client does not see what this envelope name is. So however you want to label your envelopes is totally fine. Then it's going to say what documents do you want to add to this envelope. So what documents needed to be signed and initialed and dated. So I'm going to click on room documents. And you'll see the 3 that I have in my room. I'm going to select all 3 of them. And add selected. Then it's going to say who needs to sign these documents. So I'm going to add recipient as pre-tagged roles. You want to do pre-tagged roles because what that does is it puts those signature fields and initial fields to the appropriate person. So we're going to do pre-tagged roles, and it's going to say, okay, who is seller 1? And we're going to say Jane Command is seller 1. And then we have seller 2, which is Jerry Command. We can also go through this and put yourself in there. So listing agent, that would be me. Managing broker, so that would be Paul. So that would be the KW admin right here. And you'll see there are some things that are mapped differently. So you see listing agent as one and listing sales associate. Those are mapped a little differently, but they're the same person. So you would put yourself here as the listing sales associate as well. It's just on a different form and it's named differently. Same thing with listing broker. Paul doesn't really need to sign listing agreements, but if you want him to, there's a few spots in there that it says broker signature and initial. and of course buyer 1 and buyer 2. Right now we're just getting listing agreements signed, so we don't have a buyer 1 or buyer 2. So I'm going to add selected. And you'll see those starting to populate. Now you'll see these numbers over here, they all say 1. You can actually, well, 4 of them say 1 and the rest say 2 and 3. You can label these who you want to be able to sign first. So if you want to sign first and you want maybe Paul or someone to sign that owner's authorization form, because that does need a broker signature, you can label you want you to sign first, Paul to sign second, and then maybe your clients to sign third. So they're getting the final product after you've signed and the broker signed. So you would just change these numbers over here if you wanted to label who signs in what order. This next one is a message to all recipients. So this will be going to, Paul and your clients. So I would direct it towards your clients. I wouldn't, address Paul. I would just have this email directed to your clients. So email subject can say listing documents for 123 Main Street. And then in your email, you can say, please review and ask me any questions before signing. All right, and then up here on the upper right, once we have that information in there, we can hit this next button on the upper right. When you do that, it's going to be loading the documents so you can see them before you send them to the client. And you will see the initial fields and the signature fields that are already there. So you don't have to add any. Everywhere that they need to pay attention to, they'll have these. So you'll see these are different colors. So right now I'm on Samantha Spears, which is me as the agent. If you drop down, you can go to different people. So Jane Command, Jerry Command, Samantha Spears, which is that other agent that I put in there, the KW admin. So you can switch back and forth between the people. Let's say you uploaded a PDF and you needed to add a signature field or a text field. You can go to that person and just click on a signature field. Let's say he needs to sign right here and just drop it in there. Same thing with any of these fields over here to the left. If you wanted to add text, I would go to your color and drop a text box in here and start typing that out. Over here to the right, you'll see add text, and you can start typing that. They do have, I have to remember where it is, markup tool, so you can do cross out. So let's say the price changed on a listing agreement or a executed contract. You can upload that PDF or grab it from Docusign and do a new envelope where you cross the price out and put those initials next to it. You can do that. You can also split documents in here as well. They have custom fields if you want to do that. And then most of the time people do standard fields that are right here. So once you are done adding the initials and signature fields, any text that you might need to add, all you have to do is hit that send button, and that will send to your clients and anyone else who needs to sign. Like I said, if you have the owner authorization form from the MLS, Paul has to sign that. And then it will just email them that email that you drafted. And once everything is completed, it will give you a notification in your email that the document is finished and it's completed inside of your room. Does anyone have any questions? If you do, just make sure you unmute yourself to ask.
Yeah, hi Sam, this is Gary. How you doing? You hear me? Sam?
Hold on, I can't hear you if you're talking. Let me turn my volume up. I guess I should have done that. All right.
Yeah, this is Gary. How you doing, Sam?
Hi, Gary. How are you?
Good, thanks. I can hear you now. Why do we have the broker signing every page?
So the broker doesn't need to. He really only needs to sign the owner authorization form. I just put it in there just because they had it on there. So I just put Paul on there. He only needs to sign that broker authorization form.
What is the broker owner authorization form again?
So that's if your client wants to withhold putting their property on the MLS. Yeah,
Okay.
that form.
Okay, gotcha.
Any other questions?
Hey, Samantha, it's Nicholas.
Hi.
Hi. I apologize. Quick question. How did you get to the page where you're assigning who's who?
So let me see if I can go back. What I did is on the upper, let me go all the way back. So when you're in Docusign, when you go to that first page, one more time. There we go. So we're in, you'll see this is where it takes you first to the documents page. And then we go to envelopes to create that envelope, and then new. And that will take you to where you're adding those people. So here, when I added them, you'll see add recipient. And then I did pre-tagged roles. And then I selected who's who in this. These are fields that are inside of the documents. So I just match them to who they go to.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think I saw a chat, so let me see. So Jan asked how to delete a text box to get all sellers on one line. So let me go back to the form. And thank you, Jen, for bringing that up, because that reminded me to show you guys something else. Let's find, so let's say right here you needed to add a signature. You can actually move this over if you wanted to, and if you right click it, you can delete it. You can add multiples. So let's say you have 4 sellers. I'm just going to act as I'm a seller, so I'm going to do a signature field and just drop it in there. Let's say I maybe put this under the wrong person. So instead you would have to, delete it, go to the right person, do all those steps, assign it, things like that in Dotloop. Over here, you can actually just click on it, and over to the right, you'll see the recipient, and you can change it to someone else. So you don't have to do all the deleting and things like that, assigning. You can just change it automatically just like that. Does that answer your question, Jan? And I know there's only 2 spots for sellers inside of Docusign. So the way around that is if you have more than 2 sellers, is where we added those recipients. Instead of adding them by pre-tagged roles, we're going to add them as with an email address. So let me go back to that and just show you that real quick. So you would add recipient as an email address. So this could be your 3rd seller. So we could do Sally seller and Sally at seller.com. And then she will be in that next field. We can add, of course, her fields in there. That's a little bit of the tedious part just because there is only 2. So you would have to go through for Sally seller, since she is the 3rd seller and there's not really a field for that. You would have to go in and add her initials and signatures in. So she would be right here, and we would have to add, her initials somewhere in here if you do have multiple sellers. All right, any other questions?
Sam,
Yep.
yeah, this is Mary Blackwell. When you're making an offer and don't you just send it to the listing agent first? You don't send it to the other the parties that own the home, right?
Yeah, this is only for listings. So I don't have any buyers in here. So
Okay.
this would only be for, this is like, I'm just getting this listing and I want them to sign the listing documents.
Okay. Are you going to go over the other? I mean, like if you were buying a property and making an offer, are you going to go over that separately?
Well, it's the same concept. I mean, it's just a different form, but the concept is still the same. The steps are the exact same on the
Okay.
Docusign part.
Okay. So my question is, so I make an offer and I send it to the listing agent, and the listing agent is now, can he just send it on from mine to the owners of the house?
Yep. So if you wanted to, I as a real estate agent, I wouldn't put the buyer's information in here and send it, directly to the buyers. What I would do is I would maybe add a recipient by email address and add that other agent. So when everything's done, he can be the last person to receive this. And instead of where it says needs to sign, you can do receives a copy. So you can send that to him after everyone's signed. You just have to make sure he's that last number. So he would be number 4.
Okay. Is it going to come back to me in Docusign, or he can do whatever he wants with it? I mean,
yeah, it's gonna, whenever everyone on the listing paperwork is finished signing, it's gonna come back to you, just letting you know that your document's complete, and you'll have it in Docusign where you can forward it to him there as well.
okay. Okay.
Any other questions?
I don't understand a damn thing.
Samantha, is there any chance that the seller's property disclosure statement auto-populates this way too?
It does.
Beautiful.
All the check boxes and everything is already templated out, so they can just go through and check it electronically.
Hallelujah.
Yep. Any other questions? All right, well, tomorrow I'm going to show you how to bring these documents back into Command for the compliance review. Usually in Dotloop, you would just hit submit to MC, but we're going to bring that back into Command under this document section right here for compliance. So I'm going to show you that tomorrow. And then Wednesday, I'm going to show you what the green sheets are gone. Well, not necessarily gone, but you don't have to do green sheets anymore because commissions is live. So Wednesday, I'm going to be showing you how to submit a new commissions through Command. So everything's in one spot. If you guys need any help, they want one-on-one training, don't hesitate to reach out to me. We can go through this again one-on-one if you guys need extra help.
Thanks.
All right, guys, have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks.